And today, we're going to show you how FileMaker's premier workplace innovation platform and the new job tracking template can help transform your business. My name is Ryan Manook. I'm a solutions engineer here at FileMaker, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. I'm going to start off by spending a quick 2 to 3 minutes covering the what's and whys of FileMaker templates, and then we're going to jump into a demo showcasing how the job tracking template can address problems now and evolve with your business needs. But first, some quick housekeeping items. So for the best experience, we strongly recommend that you participate in this webinar with at least a broadband connection. If you have any problems or require online assistance at any time, please contact Citrix Technical Support at 888-259-8414. And throughout the webinar, you're going to have the opportunity to ask me a question or just make a comment. So click on the GoToWebinar control panel, click on the question section, enter your question or comment, and click on send. And remember, you don't have to wait until the end to submit a question. Feel free to comment at any time. In fact, now is actually a great time to comment and share your daily obstacles related to job tracking. Now, speaking of overcoming obstacles, FileMaker Inc.'s recently released FileMaker templates are fantastic resources to help you solve problems and achieve some quick, easy wins. You can choose your own customization yourself, or you could decide to work with one of our trusted developers and leverage the templates as a better starting point than beginning from scratch. Either way, the takeaway is that these FileMaker templates are an easily accessible resource to help dig you out of your work rut, and in particular for today's focus, the work ruts related to your current processes for job tracking. Where can you get the templates? Well, you download the template directly off of FileMaker's website, where there are dedicated pages for each of the FileMaker templates for you to explore. And the best part is, these FileMaker templates are completely free. That's right. You can download them right now if you haven't already without any charge. So once you download a FileMaker template, you're going to start off with a core file, which has just the right amount of functionality to get you started tracking your jobs, managing your staff and clients. It really just sets you up for some quick, easy wins right out of the box. But the real value of FileMaker templates, especially if you're interested in owning the customization yourself, are the build-ons. Build-ons are a list of suggested features or workflows that you can add or build into your core file through a series of online tutorials. That's right, you select the build-on, and we're going to walk you through step by step, click by click, on how to add that feature right into your core file. Now, while I am really excited at the prospect of your success with the job tracking template, I'm definitely aware that you've most likely had a tangible app or a solution in your hands before. And I'm well aware that for many of you, the journey to this webinar was paved because the technology in your company, it just hasn't worked out the way it was promised. Maybe you reached out to technology because you wanted to level up your company's ability to better provide a service, but then why are you still wasting hours every week searching for unrelated documents and papers? Or why are you spending so much time working around your current process limitations than actually solving problems? Well, the reason is because maybe for too long, your company has leaned on appliance apps. So I'm talking about apps which handle a task or a component of your service really, really well, but the appliance app you're using, they aren't really built or meant to expand and evolve with the needs of a business. I mean, you can't expand what you don't have the ability to customize, right? That app you downloaded is not going to magically mature into a fully built out CRM. On the other hand, maybe your company is founded on these larger ironclad enterprise systems, which are extremely powerful. They do great things, but for many of you, it's not customizable without the aid of an IT team, which means your needs have most likely changed by the time your initial request is delivered. The point is, FileMaker's workplace innovation platform, it's built to fill that gap between appliance apps and enterprise systems that can often lead to the work rut. This means that your success is not going to be determined solely by a custom app, but by FileMaker's entire workplace innovation platform, which allows you to continually create or customize apps just like this FileMaker job tracking template, and then continue to quickly change them as your business needs evolve. You can then share these custom apps with your teams so they can access data on any device that they're carrying untethered to your cube so they can better provide their service in the real areas that they work. And then you can integrate your custom apps with software services and other apps to remain a leader in your industry. So you'll have the right starting point, powered by the right platform, and the right ecosystem of learning paths and developers for support along the way. And with that, let's dive into how the job tracking template and FileMaker's premier workplace innovation platform can transform your business. So we're going to look through the job tracking template through the lens of a customer story that closely reflects stories that we hear on a daily basis. So we're going to work with a small flooring and carpet company with about 15 employees. They provide services such as estimates, flooring removal, and flooring and carpet installations. And then currently their employees, they use contact apps to manage their clients. And then there's multiple spreadsheets for time entries and jobs floating around that they have to sift through on a daily basis. It's not ideal, but hey, maybe that setup looks a little too familiar to some of you. Now, at the end of the day, they're getting the job done, but they're definitely stuck in a rut. So the FileMaker job tracking template, it looks like a great starting point for the business, and they definitely have a vision of how far reaching they want that custom app to grow. But first, let's just start digitizing and centralizing the information. That in and of itself would be a massive win right out of the box. So we're going to walk through the job tracking core file, and we're going to talk about how easily we can start managing clients, staff, and jobs. So right now we're looking at the job tracking core file. Again, this is the starting point for your FileMaker templates. And there's no right way or wrong way to start using this core file. If you wanted to start adding your tasks or viewing your time entries or adding your staff, you can do so. But in our scenario where we're a small flooring and carpet installation company, let's assume that we have a brand new client and we want to associate a job with that client, and we'll start from there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the client's icon, and you'll notice that we come to a list view that shows all of my existing records. That's an experience that happens throughout all of the core file. I'm going to go ahead and click on a brand new client button here, and we'll start adding some information. Now, our company, they work with individuals and medium and larger size companies. But in this scenario, we're just going to be working with an individual named Janet. So we'll just start adding some of her information here, really simple. One thing you'll notice about these layouts is that we avoided having some fields and labels that might push this core file towards a particular industry. So it's really just a more general, fundamental approach, so it's easily customizable. So we're setting that status to active, and now that we have some information on Janet, let's go ahead and create a brand new job. So I'm going to click on the Add Job button down here at the bottom, and we'll say that Janet has this really nice 3-story home, and she wants to essentially renovate all the floors in her home. So we'll just call this home renovation. I'm going to choose a renovation option here in category. You can create your own value list. You can add your own values here, but we populated with a few options for you there right out of the box. And then we'll say that this job is probably going to take a few weeks to complete. Okay, and the status is open. We'll go ahead and click on create. And just like that, we have one job associated with a client. Now, let's say that Janet really liked the work that we did and she wanted to add hire us up for another job. So we could say that the guest house renovation. She wants to do some of the carpet there. And we'll say that this is going to come down the pipe in a few months. And we'll say that that'll happen sometime in like May. I'm going to go ahead and click on create. And we have now 2 jobs associated to our client, Janet. The point is, you can just come into the core file and start working. You don't have to worry about some of these relationships and automation because it's already pre-built right into that core file for you. Now let's explore the home renovation job. I'm going to go ahead and click on that record, and you see we're brought to a job detail layout. And now we can start adding some staff. So who's going to be working on this job, and then some tasks. What do we need to do for this job to be complete? We'll start off by assigning some of our staff. See, I already have some staff pre-populated in my core file here, and we're going to choose Spencer and then Terry to back him up. Those are two of our installers. And then for tasks, well, a job like this always starts with an initial inspection, okay? And we'll say that's assigned to Spencer, and he'll perform that the week of February 20th. I'm going to go ahead and select add another task because I don't want to leave this window. Actually, let's change this to in progress. I'm going to go ahead and click on create, and we'll say that the next step in this process is removing the flooring. That'll also be assigned to Spencer, and that'll probably be a week out from his inspection. And then we'll go ahead and create another task, and that's actually going to be the tile installation. That'll also be assigned to Spencer, and that'll be a few weeks out from there. I'm finished creating additional tasks from this window, so I'm going to uncheck that box. I'm going to go ahead and click on create, and there are all the tasks just like we would expect associated or related right to that job. Again, that's already pre-built for you right in the core file. All you need to do is just start adding your information. Now let's take it a step further. Let's say that we wanted to add a time entry for this job. Let's say that Spencer already performed some of his initial inspection duties. So I'm going to click on this add time entry button, and we'll say that this is for Spencer and the initial inspection, and he performed that on the 20th. Let's say he started at 10 a.m. and he worked until about 2 p.m. Okay. This is going to be a billable hours. We're going to go ahead and click on the create button, and there we go, time entry for that particular task. And just like you would expect, if we added additional time entries for tasks on here, it would be displayed right in this view. You get that historical information just like you would expect. Now, we drill down into this job. Let's go ahead and drill into one of the tasks. So I'm going to select the initial inspection task. I'm going to click on that record, and hey, that jumps us to a new task detail layout. Okay, so we get some further information about that task detail. I can change the status of that task here as well, and as noted, I could add some time entries, which we've already done for this particular task, but if I wanted to, I could add some time entries here. So all that information is, again, related. There's different ways and different paths that you can go down to enter information like we had talked about when we first started exploring the core file. There's no right way or wrong way to get to the area that you want to go. You just work for the way that makes sense for your business. Now, in terms of navigating this core file, you've already seen me use some of the techniques, like I use the dashboard. There's some other really quick ways that you can start navigating right in your core file. Now notice there are some links that are on the layouts. In this scenario, for the task detail, I can jump to the staff member who is currently assigned to this task and see all of the historical information for tasks related to that staff member. I can also jump right back to the job. So I can jump up that hierarchy and jump to the job that this task is specifically assigned to. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll click on that. All right, and we're back to our job, looking at some details for what we've already created for this job. On the left-hand side, we have this master detail layout, and these are all the jobs that I have in my portfolio. You can see the different statuses that we have listed there. This is, again, another quick and easy way to navigate through your records. On the right-hand side, if you see this hamburger icon, this is kind of like that dashboard. You get that list of areas that you can explore in your core file. So if I clicked on the tasks, for example, I can see all of the tasks that I have here in my core file custom app, and you can see the task that we just created. Again, it's automatically going to appear. It's all centralized information, kind of things that we're trying to solve because we were working in 3 different standalone apps. If native FileMaker navigation was more your style, you can navigate through your records up here in the upper left using FileMaker's native status toolbar, and you can also perform a find for your records just like you would expect in any other FileMaker custom app. So that was a quick exploration into the FileMaker job tracking core file. Again, it has just the right amount of functionality to get you started tracking your jobs. And the key takeaway is under the hood, we've already have some relationships built. We already have some automation in there so that you can just dive right in and start entering your information without having to worry about all of this other overhead that could slow down your progress right out of the gate. So we've had a great start managing some of the fundamental areas of our business. Now, I'm sure many of you are asking, well, Ryan, with the job tracking template, is the experience strictly what you see is what you get? The answer is that these templates are 100% completely unlocked, so you can make any desired change at any time. So let's walk through an example of how we could start personalizing this template so it makes a little bit more sense for our business. So we can begin customization of the FileMaker job tracking core file right from this dashboard layout. What I mean by that is, let's go ahead and click on this settings section here, and we can add our own logo to this job tracking core file. So I'm going to go ahead and insert our company logo, and we're just going to call this FileMaker Inc. Flooring Company. Okay, and we'll go ahead and click on done. And just like that, we've started personalizing this particular core file. And what's cool is that you'll see that the icon is adopted all throughout this core file, just a nice, easy way, again, to personalize our custom app. But again, as I had mentioned, these core files, they are 100% unlocked, so you can make any kind of change under the hood at any particular time. So just like any other FileMaker custom app, I can jump into layout mode, and this is where you can work on the design and schema of your custom app. So here we're taking a look at the particular layout. We can make some changes here if we wanted to. Again, underneath the hood, a quick sneak peek here. If I wanted to add some additional tables of information, add some fields to those tables, and then if I wanted to create some additional relationships between those tables, again, all of that is available to me right out of the box. In this scenario, let's just make two really quick, easy changes that can really start to push this core file into a direction that makes a little bit more sense for my business. So I'm here on the task detail layout, and I think it would really be great, since we are a flooring, tile, and carpet installation company, if we had the chance to select whether the task would involve tiles or carpet, and then what type of tiles and carpet would be needed to complete that particular task. Well, in order to do that, first thing I'm going to do is create some additional fields. So over here on the left-hand side, underneath this task table, I'm going to create a type field that's going to store whether it is a carpet or a tile. And then I'm going to create an additional field. We'll call this type tile and type carpet. Okay. All three of those fields will be text fields. So I'm going to drag this type field right over onto my layout. And again, these are the same exact steps that you would perform if you were editing a your own custom app. Okay, and I'm going to turn this into a popover. Okay, because I want to have the option to quickly select whether this will be a carpet or tile installation without having to always enter those values. So I'm just going to say type, and we'll choose the values carpet and tile. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click OK. And if I exit the layout, go back into our browse mode, you can see really quickly I have this nice pop-over menu, really simple, lets me have the ability to choose. Okay, now jumping back into layout mode, it would be great if I chose an option for carpet, I could get a list of the types of carpet that I had. Or if I chose the option tile, I could get a list of the types of tile that I had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the type carpet field and bring that over onto our layout. Okay, and I'm going to change this label from type carpet to style. Oops. And then I'll bring the type tile field over here as well. Okay. And let's go ahead and select that. I'm going to change this into a popover as well. And I'm going to create a brand new value list. So we'll say that this is type carpet. And for the carpet, we'll say nylon, polyester, and wool. Go ahead and click OK. All right. And then for the type tile, we'll say that this is a pop-up menu as well. And we'll create a new value list for that. And we'll say that this is type tile. And we'll have ceramic, mosaic, porcelain, and wood. Okay. So I'll go ahead and click OK there. Now, I don't want both of these fields on the layout. I only want them visible depending on the value that I choose for the type, okay? So for the next step is we're going to add a calculation on both of these fields, okay? So we're going to do some object visibility calculation here in my inspector menu. I'm going to say that I don't want this particular carpet field to be displayed if the type field equals tile. Okay. Now for the type tile field, I'm going to say that I don't want this particular object to be shown if that type field has a value of carpet. So go ahead and click OK and bring that right over on top of my carpet field there. Okay. There we go. So now let's go ahead and exit layout, take a look at our change. If I select a carpet type, I now have nylon polyester wool. And if I select a tile type, which matches this particular task, I now have the updated value list where I can choose the appropriate tile type for this particular task. Again, a really quick example of how you can customize this job tracking core file, but you can take this as far as you want it to go. Again, you can create as many tables of information, as many layouts, as many fields, as much automation as you wanted, just like you could with any other FileMaker custom map. In this scenario, it was really simple, just 3 fields, but it made a lot more sense for the type of business that we run. And really just think about it, in your existing systems, how much would it cost for you to wait to have just 3 simple fields added to your solution? So we've been leveraging the core file for some time, and we're already starting to see some benefits of having our data centralized. But now we're ready to expand the app to other areas of the business. Remember, there's a group of employees who visit buildings, they visit homes to provide estimates and handle flooring removals and installations. So let's see how the job tracking template, with the addition of a few build-ons, can help eliminate some of the spreadsheets and paper forms bogging down the business. Now that we want to extend it out to our teams, it makes sense for us to really take advantage of the true value of the FileMaker templates, the real power of the FileMaker templates, which are, of course, the build-ons. And build-ons, as noted, they are a list of suggested workflows or features that you can add into the core file through a series of online tutorials. So what I did was, in the interest of time, I pre-built some of the build-ons right into our core file. Now, where did I do that? Well, let's take a break really quickly and jump over to FileMaker's website, and I can show you. On FileMaker's website, each template has their own dedicated web page, and it's a great area to get a little bit more information about what you can expect in terms of core file functionality. There's some nice videos that dive a little bit deeper in terms of how you can use them, and this is also where you can download the templates as well. And as you make your way down the page, you'll see that list of build-ons that I was mentioning. So I went ahead and added a few, like the iPad time entry, for example, and let me show you what that looks like. So if I scroll down, you'll notice that these tutorials are presented in a fashion really similar to our free online custom app academy tutorials. We provide you step-by-step, click-by-click on how to add these workflows and features right into your core file. So this is what it looks like for iPad time entry. As I said, I pre-built that into one of the core files I'll be working with, and I did the same thing for the invoicing module as well. So let's jump back into this core file, okay? So we're given a brand new invoices layout. We can sort for different statuses. There's also invoice detail layout. Again, we'll walk you through how to create and build this into your core file. There's a workflow for creating a PDF and sending an email out as well. We'll see that in action in a little bit. And for the time entry, let me jump into layout mode. There's a few iPad layouts that we created, okay? For time entry, and again, we'll walk you through how to build that, and let's see these in action. Now, I do want to get this over to my teams, so the first step is I need to share my custom app. So this is just like any other FileMaker custom app. We're just going to upload it to FileMaker Server or FileMaker Cloud. In this case, I'm choosing FileMaker Server. Let me just enter my FileMaker Server credentials here, and we'll upload that file. We'll give that a second or two to complete. Okay, the file was uploaded successfully, and I'm going to enter my credentials for the file, and there we go. Again, it looks like that file that we were just working with, but it is now hosted by FileMaker Server. That means we're ready to share this with our team. So how do I get this over onto an iPad? Well, in order to show you that, let me jump over to my QuickTime player, and this allows me to display the iPad Air that I have over in my hands right now. And you can see it in the upper left corner, there's FileMaker Go, so I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. There is our job tracking, iPad time entry, and invoice file. So let me go ahead and tap that file that we're working with. And again, I'll enter my credentials as prompted. Now, this is new. We're getting prompted with a message if we want to add attachments or time entry. And this is strictly because we've built in some build-ons into our core file. Well, for this workflow, again, we want to add a time entry, so I'm going to tap on the time entries option. And we're taken to this really nice optimized for iOS layout. Again, we'll walk you through how to build this out. And I'm going to tap on Spencer's name. And he's the installer that's closely tied to Janet's account. And we already have a time entry here for his inspection work. But now let's say that he's a little bit ahead of the game and he already put in some hours towards the flooring removal. So I'm going to tap on the Add Time Entry button. We get this nice card window that appears. And there's different things that we can do. We can sort by job. If we wanted to, we could sort by a status as well. Okay. So I cleared the status filter. Now we're looking at all the tasks that we have for the home renovation project for Janet. And as we mentioned, Spencer got a little bit of work done for the flooring removal. So we're going to go ahead and say that he worked from about 7 a.m. to about, let's say, 2 p.m. Okay. So put some time in there. And these are billable hours, so we want this to show up on an invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on Create, and there it is. You can see in the right-hand corner, we have the hours that are calculated, we have the time entries. It really is that simple. There isn't that much here to confuse our users. There's just a few clicks, and we have that historical time entry information just like we wanted. Now, we talked about adding an invoice and sending it off to the customer, again, right where we work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to the invoices layout, okay? So again, here I am on my iPad. We have that brand new invoices workflow that we talked about. I'm going to tap on the jobs icon, and I'm going to open up that home renovation job that we are performing for Janet. And I'm going to tap over to the invoices tab. As expected, we don't have any invoices yet, but we're going to go ahead and create one for the billable hours that we've already performed. So I'm going to tap on the Add Invoice button, and what's happening is it's capturing all of the time entries for this job that are not yet associated with an invoice, okay? So we've now created a new invoice. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that invoice so we can drill down and view the invoice detail page. So we have the task for initial inspection. We had 4 hours there. We have the flooring removal. Where did the rate value go? Well, let's tap on that particular time entry. And notice that there's actually a rate field now. And this was part of the invoice build on. So we can add a rate there and calculate the cost, which is what we would expect for an invoice. Okay, so we've added Spencer's rate. We have his hours in there, and we have a total. Now, if we wanted to view it as a PDF, we could. I'm going to tap on that Create PDF button down at the bottom, and there's that invoice. But even better, we can attach that PDF to an email and send it off. So I'm going to tap on that Create Email button down at the bottom. It's going to bring up my mail, and you can see the PDF attached right to that email, just like we would expect. Again, we're doing things where we actually work instead of having to write them down on spreadsheets and paper and bring them back to the office and again deal with all that scattered information. Now that we've leveled up our company's methods for tracking daily information, we want to start using the data we've captured to make better business decisions. So let's see how we can leverage the job tracking template and the task report build-on to do so. All right, let's jump out of the iPad and back to the desktop. Again, I've prepared a file pre-built with the build-on that we want to explore. In this case, it's the task report. And again, you add the build-ons through the online tutorials in the build-on section of the template web page. Now, the task report workflow, it actually starts on the tasks detail page. So I'm going to jump into a task detail, and you can see that there are brand new fields here that we've added, expected hours and hours remaining. This is going to allow us to estimate how many hours we think we'll need for a task. And then based off our time entry, it's going to be summarized, and then we'll see how much time we performed versus how much time we've estimated. Again, that's going to really help us make some better business decisions. So let's jump back to the dashboard, and we'll jump into this task report view, and we can view and we can filter by job, or we can filter by staff. Both reports give us hours expected, hours worked. Again, these are based off of the time entries, and then how much we have remaining to hit our estimated goals. Now, in terms of this project for Janet, Spencer was one of our main installers, and we can see that his schedule coming up is pretty full. And Terry, he's a great installer, but he's more of a junior member of our staff, and we don't want to give him a full project to own just yet. But another of our experienced installers, Rita, she looks like she has a more open schedule. She only had a few initial inspections to perform. So what we're going to do is lighten the load for Spencer and give Rita Janet's account. So we're going to jump into the dashboard and back to clients and Janet's account and the jobs and the home renovation job. Again, different ways that we can get to the data. And what we're going to do is on the tasks, well, first actually staff, we will add Rita to the team for this project. And for the tasks for flooring removal, let's assign this to Rita. And then for the tile installation, let's assign this to Rita as well. So we'll just do a better job of managing our team and making everyone's schedules more efficient. So now if we go back to our task report and we go through staff, we can see that Rita has picked up the project for Janet, and Spencer's schedule is much more manageable. Again, a nice simple way to gain some meaning of all this data that's centralized in our FileMaker job tracking template. So through this tutorial, we get a nice easy win to help us better manage our team. Man, look at how far we've come just using this job tracking template. By centralizing our data, we have more time now to focus on more productive tasks throughout the day, and we can make better business decisions to drive our company forward. And then FileMaker's workplace innovation platform, it made mobile connectivity an easily accessible option to our teams so they can better perform where they actually work. These were all very easy, achievable, and very impactful wins, and we're just starting our customer journey. So that was a quick overview of the FileMaker job tracking template, and for our fictional company, the template was an important component in steering them in the right direction. But noted at the top of the demo, the company that we used, it was really just a composite of companies that we actually talk to on a daily basis. And I wanted to wrap up with an account of a real customer experience and their FileMaker job tracking journey. Rugs Benedict, located in Avon, Colorado, is the largest showroom in the Colorado High Rockies for area rugs, carpets, and hardwood floors. Rugs Benedict needed a way to be able to see sales activity, project status, and installation schedules in real time. And Roger, who evolved from carpet installer to business owner of Rugs Benedict, he sought some guidance from his local Apple store. He reviewed tutorial resources, and then he made trips to FileMaker's annual developer conference, just really taking advantage of that entire workplace innovation platform ecosystem. But it all culminated in a job management app spanning the entire project lifecycle from initial customer contact all the way through installation. And he also has an iPad deployment in the warehouse to manage stock. Today, Rugs Benedict outgrosses most competitors by 4 times the amount. And Roger had this to say: "It is hard to explain just how easy FileMaker is. I don't have to perform magic to create a custom app that meets all my business needs." And you can read more about Rugs Benedict's story on FileMaker's website, right in the customer story section. All right, well, our session is almost over, so that means it's almost time to head over to FileMaker's website and download the job tracking core file yourself if you haven't already. So what you're going to do is download that core file, you're going to explore it, and then try your hand at adding a build-on or two that might make sense for your business. From there, you can continue diving into the FileMaker platform. We have a ton of great resources like the free online Custom App Academy tutorials, the free FileMaker community forums where you can have chats with other developers and other FileMaker users, and other online resources like FileMaker's lynda.com track. Or if it makes sense, check out FileMaker's Find a Partner page on the FileMaker website and sync up with a trusted partner who is invested in your success. There's over 50,000 global FileMaker developers, all who are excited to help execute your vision. Okay, it's Q&A time. As a reminder, if you want to ask a question or make a comment, open up your GoToWebinar control panel, click on that question section, enter that question, and click on send. Okay, so I'm reviewing, we have a lot of questions. I'm reviewing some of the questions, but I'm being told by Eric, who some of you may have been chatting with during the webinar, that number one question that we're getting is, what version will this job tracking template work with? Well, the file is built to work with FileMaker 17. There's reasons for that. In particular, we're using features that were introduced in FileMaker 17, like the master detail list, or that list on the left-hand side that displayed all of the records that you could click on and navigate. So it's not optimized for previous versions. So if you did want to use a job tracking template and you did have FileMaker 17, download a trial and check it out. Actually, from there, if you wanted to, once the file was open, again, it's 100% unlocked, you can choose to change the minimum version that file would work with. But again, I would recommend just staying in 17 because of the things that we've built and in terms of what was optimized. All right. Also, a lot of people are asking whether you'll get a link to this video. Absolutely. After all of our webinars, you'll get a link to recordings so you can follow along at your own pace. All right. Let's see. So everything shown today, it will require live connection to the server. What if you don't have a signal? Now, this is a really great question. I showed FileMaker Server today, or could be FileMaker Cloud, because I was using the iPad time entry build on. And the scenario that I had was that I had a team of installers out in the field who would, do flooring removals, installations, and they want to do time right where they worked. That said, if you need to work in-house or in the office, you can use a job tracking template there. You don't need an internet connection for FileMaker, regardless if it's a job tracking template or just a FileMaker platform in general. If you have an intranet connection, as long as you have a network connection, you can work completely in the office, and that's fine. Or if you're not guaranteed a network connection, you can have your FileMaker Go work offline. As noted, FileMaker Go can store local copies of your custom app, so you can add and make changes to data there, and then sync that information back to your hosted app when you're back in the office. So there are ways that you can work without having internet connection. Now, the second piece of that is, do you need FileMaker Server? If you are hosting for your teams, regardless if it's really one person all the way up to the hundreds of deployments that we work with, FileMaker Server really should be the hub if you're in a production environment, and that data, if you were to lose it, would mean something to your business, right? Regardless of size of your deployment, again, if someone were to have that data, if you don't have a disaster recovery plan, then you want to set yourself up for the best success. So again, FileMaker Server or FileMaker Cloud should be the host of your custom app. The next question: can the invoice add-on be set up to export to QuickBooks? Great question. So FileMaker in general, you can connect it to QuickBooks. It's not necessarily reliant on the invoice add-on or not, but if you had the invoice add-on built in there, can you take that custom app template that you had and integrate that with QuickBooks? Absolutely, and there's different ways that you can do that. Some of our partners have created some fantastic software add-ons, like I'm thinking of Productive Computing's. They have a QuickBooks plug-on. Guys Interactive has a QuickBooks plug-on as well. We actually did a webinar series for QuickBooks integration a year or two back, if you want to check out the webinar library on FileMaker.com. Additionally, we introduced support for REST API. If you're not familiar with that, it's just a method to connect two different data sources, and you could build your own bridge to QuickBooks as well using that REST API. So there's some different paths you can take, but the overall answer to your question is absolutely you can get it to connect to QuickBooks. The next question: can the staff in the field enter their hours? Absolutely. So again, this is completely unlocked. We didn't create any accounts or privilege sets really in the file that made that really kind of limited people in terms of what you could or couldn't do, but you have absolute control over that. So if you want to create a privilege set where your staff in the field has the ability to add information out in the field, you could do that. If you wanted to lock it down so they could only view information, you could do that. Again, you have full control. It's just like any other FileMaker custom app. The next question. So you have to create a sales tax field to add to the invoice, right? Yeah, if it makes sense in your business to have a sales tax field, you would add that right into that invoice build-on. That's correct. Does the job tracking database have a traditional calendar view to see all scheduled active jobs? It doesn't. You could build that in there as well. I have a few people asking about Gantt chart add-ons. Natively, FileMaker does not have a Gantt chart type. We do have a charting tool that's native to FileMaker, but in that chart types that you can select from, Gantt chart is not available. So you would have to build that into your custom app. Can you email staff assignments as a group? You can. There's actually a build-on that allows you to check out tasks and assign them to your staff members. So we have a build-on for that. If it's something that matches up perfectly, that's great. If not, then maybe that could be a foundation for what makes sense for your business. Can start date and completion date show times instead of dates? Well, by default, we had it set as date, but certainly, again, this is completely unlocked. So if you wanted it to show time instead of date, you can make your template change to that functionality. Is there a mark task complete flag or setting so you can sort across multiple jobs for incomplete tasks? There absolutely is. So you may have noticed on the task detail layout, I believe it's the upper right corner, there's a status field. So you can mark a task whether it's completed or not, or if it's in progress or pending. I believe there's one for incomplete. If not, you can just edit that value list so you have incomplete there, and then you can do the sorts that you want to perform. The next question. Does the job tracking template integrate with invoice programs like Wave Apps, also with mail campaign services like MailChimp? Um, Wave Apps, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I don't know their integration paths. MailChimp, absolutely. MailChimp also supports that REST API like we were talking about. So it really depends on the integration path for your Wave Apps or really any other third-party data source that you're looking to integrate with your job tracking solution. So the paths that FileMaker has for integration are that REST API like we talked about, PHP and XML APIs. You have your standard import and export methods that you could do as well. So there's some flexibility there in terms of how you can get FileMaker to talk to other systems. Again, it really just depends on what that third-party data source supports and how that makes sense with FileMaker's options. The next question. Can we add a link from a customer file in the customer database to jobs associated with that customer? Certainly. So that really just depends on, you could add some automation for sorting, right? So for example, if you saw like when we had, actually that's not a great example in terms of the relationships, but you can, the information will probably be related to that customer in general, kind of like how we have, a client related to jobs or jobs related to tasks or all the tasks related to a staff member, right? So you would set up relationships that similar way where you had like, a customer with the jobs associated to them. And then if you wanted to, when you come into the file, you could have some automation written where if that customer logs in, for example, they could see their particular information. Or if a staff member logs in, they could see just the clients related to them. There's a lot of flexibility you have there. The next question. Is there a function or feature for a countdown timer? We've been doing time logging in FileMaker for years, but we've been looking for a timer that shows time remaining. Better if it shows days, hours, minutes, and seconds. No, there's not a function or feature for a countdown timer. That said, you could build one yourself. You could script one yourself. If you do a search online for like countdown timers, I'm sure there's a bunch of examples. I know a lot of people in our developer community have created that, but yeah, it's essentially just you're writing a script using like a pause with like a -1 type of value, and then again you can take it a little bit further if you wanted to add some days and months there. All right, the next question. Can you implement barcoding features? Absolutely. Again, this is, even though we're giving you a springboard for this job tracking use case, this is really just a FileMaker custom app. So if you wanted to add some barcoding in here, you could, and there's different methods. If you're using our FileMaker Go app on iOS, you can leverage the iOS device's camera straight from a container field to scan a barcode. If you're going to be working from the desktop, FileMaker can work with some plugins and Bluetooth handhelds, so there's some flexibility there. But absolutely, FileMaker will work with or you can set up barcoding. Let's see the next question. Can you link clients in the template with contacts? Also, can you start and completion dates as an iCal event? So natively, the template will not sync with the contacts or iCal, so you would need to build a bridge between that. There are some plugins that allow you to do so. Let's see, one or two before we go. Is there a way to assign subtasks to each task so you can have more detail, such as tile installation, and then subtasks of purchase tile, install tile, apply grout, etc.? You can. You saw like the hierarchy of that we created where we had client, then job, and then tasks associated to that job and time entry to that task. So if you want to go further, you could. You could build additional tables so that you had some additional information about those particular tasks. So again, really FileMaker at its heart is really just a relational database. So if you wanted to add again more tables of information and get a little bit more granular with what we've done in the job tracking template, absolutely you could do that. All right, one more. Will the template work with FileMaker Cloud? Absolutely. Again, this is just a FileMaker file, so you can throw this up into FileMaker Cloud. You can host it with FileMaker Server. There's no requirement for these FileMaker templates. There's a requirement for the version, but in terms of how you want to host it and what makes more sense, absolutely you can choose between FileMaker Server or FileMaker Cloud. All right, that's the time that we have for today. Thanks for sticking around. I know there were so many questions. There's more that we could get to, but on behalf of FileMaker, it was my absolute pleasure chatting with everyone today, showing you the job tracking template. I definitely hope that there was something that you learned from this template or something that you could incorporate into your own business to help make it more efficient. And with that, have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone. Definitely hope to see you on a future webinar soon.